Good morning, everyone. So, the reason why I didn't do a video yesterday, actually, is because I got in a wreck and totaled my car, and I was hit, and my car was T-boned, and nothing like that has ever happened to me, with the airbags going off and stuff like that. When I was 16, I hit someone's bumper or whatever. But it's pretty traumatizing. I was on my way to actually TEDx Kansas City, which I'm sure you've heard of TED Talks, which is, I think, technology, education, design, or whatever, talks. And the X just stands for an independently organized events, so a lot of cities have their own. And I was on my way with, no one was in the car with me, but I was going there from work, and going with people from work, because since I'm a journalist, I got a press pass and everything to go, and I was going to write an article about some of the takeaways from that event. And since I write about the startup community, that's something that I last year when I went, I tried to pull some insight from TED and bring it into some lessons that someone in the startup community can learn. But basically, my car is totaled. I'm a block away from the event. I'm downtown. My car almost hit a building. I'm okay. I should have said this earlier. I'm okay. Everyone is okay. There wasn't any injuries besides just my body just feeling pretty sore and overall shaken. And I have this weird blister, and it wasn't there at first. It was just kind of bruised, but I woke up and I was like, what the hell? But anyway, so of course when that happens, I start freaking out about money, is what I do. I just moved out of my parents' house 2 months ago. And of course, when I'm doing this, I start freaking out about money. I don't even have the time to be thankful that I'm alive, And unfortunately, that's how a lot of people think of things like that. As opposed to thinking of, thank God everyone was okay. Thank God the guy who hit me is okay. I'm okay. It's, of course, in our society directly all right, who's gonna pay for this? All right, this thing is gone. This thing that we idolize, our car, our object, materialism, is what is important. And I just couldn't help but just be God damn it. Why is public transportation not easily accessible and affordable? And I almost was just fuck this, I never want to drive again. Driving's scary, I hate driving. Cause man, a year ago, I bought this car a year ago. But I probably should say I'm gonna share some perspective after this. This is not just a rant video. I'm gonna share some perspective, from what I learned and what I'm grateful for. But anyway, a year ago I bought my car. I just bought this car, and so I'm still paying it off and everything. But yeah, and so basically, what I'm saying is that I already was afraid of driving whenever I was driving my other car, which was my grandpa's, and it broke down in the middle of the highway, and I had to wait for AAA for like an hour, and I was like, thought I was gonna die and be pushed off the highway for like an hour. So anyway, I hate driving. But okay, so I'm there, I'm crying, I'm late to the thing. Like, I was there at this intersection for like 2 hours when it comes to like waiting for the police, waiting for a tow truck and everything. So the first thought I had was like, this means that I need to slow down and reflect more just like in my life. Because this is something I do, is whenever something bad happens, I'm always wanting to know, what does that mean for me? And this is where I guess maybe my spiritual side could come in or whatever. I don't think that things just happen. I think that if a bad thing happens, then it's bringing a lesson. And anyway, so I almost went home and just cried all night. But I decided that I already have a ticket. Everyone at work is going to this TED event. And also after the event is an after party thing outside. And it was perfect weather. And after the event, anyone that has a ticket could go around. And a lot of companies have like booths set up with like cool, like light up inspirational, like, I don't know, like art or like interactive displays and like free beer, you know? So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm already gonna have to like Uber home because I don't have a car. So like, might as well live it up. You know what I'm saying? So I really just realized something about myself, is that how, of course, everyone at work is like, oh my gosh, like, I hope you're okay. Like, let us know if you need anything. I think I kind of surprised everyone by the way that I just showed up and was like, yeah, well, everyone's like, are you okay? And I'm like, well, no, but what can you do? Is like kind of what I said. Like, what are you supposed to say to that, you know? Do they really want to know? Or do they want me to, are they asking me, are you okay, because they want me to not emote because it would make them feel uncomfortable? I don't know. I'm not blaming like anyone or whatever. I'm just saying, like, it's weird whenever people will ask you that and I'm like, no, I'm not okay, but I will be. Like, it's not, I know it's not the end of the world. But I just have to share that while I was at the TED event, there was this woman, a speaker, who had only one leg, and she 4 years ago was in a boating accident where she lost her leg and couldn't walk for, well, I mean, like, she's like can't ever like literally walk again, but she couldn't walk for like a year or two before her prosthetic leg. But anyway, her speech was so inspiring, and the one thing that really stuck with me was how she was saying that when she first lost her limb. Have you heard of phantom limb syndrome? I think that's what it's called. Basically, when people lose a limb, they have sensations as though that limb is still there, which is really, and like she said that when after her accident, she had like this sensation that there was like a string or like something in between her toes that she couldn't get out, and she was like looking, and she didn't even have that foot anymore. It was like, but it was still bothering her as though it was like a little string in her toe. And she said that a lot of people suffer from phantom life syndrome, which is reacting to something that's not there, either because it used to be there or because it's an image that someplace you want to go. And it's like, a lot of parts of ourselves can die, but we can still be reacting as though it is there, in the same way that someone who loses a limb can react to their limb. And I realized that I was like kind of still reacting that way about my car, because I was like honestly so proud of myself that a year ago I had good enough credit to get approved, and I was like just out of college. So I was like, and I didn't have much of a, like, I didn't really have that much money for a big down payment, but luckily I just got hired and I was able to prove that I would be able to pay. And I got so lucky with that car, and I was like, I couldn't believe that it's gone. And I was really proud of myself for the way I was able to budget and everything. And I don't know, but that really made me think, and I honestly like couldn't help but cry like that entire time, because that's when it really sunk in. Like, even though I was like aware of this whenever my wreck happened, that's when it really sucked. That's when it really like sunk in that like I need to just be happy that I'm alive and all these things. And one of the things that she suggested everyone do, she said that it seems like when people have an injury, they see the world through a different pair of goggles, and it's called perspective. And she said that you don't need to have a tragic injury or a tragic event or trauma happen in your life in order to get these goggles. Anyone can pick them up at any time. And one of the questions she asked herself is, how could it have been worse? And she was saying, like, the boat could have hit me through one of my arms, and I couldn't have been able to write as much because she's a writer. Or it could have gone through my head or my stomach. And so I'd like to do that with my situation, just briefly. It could have been worse if my grandma didn't have a car that she wasn't using anymore because she doesn't drive anymore. It could have been worse if my parents didn't live in the same town as me. It could have been worse if a friend was in the car with me. Could have been worse even if no one else was in the car with me, if the side of my car that was hit was the one I was on, like the driver's side, but the passenger side was hit. It could have been worse if the cops would have written me a ticket. It could have been worse if I didn't have AAA and if I had to pay for the towing. It could have been worse if one of my coworkers wouldn't have seen it happen and stopped to check on me. Could have been worse if I didn't have any even options for plans that night of people wanting to hang out with me, because maybe I would have just moped and been like, I have no friends. It could have been worse if I like just bought that car, but it still sucks that it's not paid off. But I think it was like a 5-year loan, and so I paid 1/5 of it. So that's cool. It could have been worse if I didn't have get to witness such inspiring conversations right after the event. It could have been worse if anyone would have gotten hurt. It could have been worse if I didn't have anyone to be there for me or help me, which I don't. Okay, and it's like, I don't really know how I'm gonna pay for this, because I don't know if my parents are gonna help me at all, because they haven't helped me. But I at least have family in the area, and I'm not gonna starve. And it would have been worse if I didn't have an understanding understanding coworkers. Now, I want to wrap this up with some things that I learned that I think I'm going to try and bring forward after this. Is basically, I realize that I move so fast. Like, I don't pay attention to my body. I'm just go, 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 go all the time. And I realize that I really just need to slow down, pay attention to my body's needs, don't force myself, relax, appreciate my things, appreciate the details, be careful. I think this is an opportunity for me to be better at accepting help from others. Yeah, sometimes you need to feel hopeless in order to readjust yourself. So, thanks for watching. I appreciate you.